Well, good evening everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another stream to be Overthunk by Sharky. We are back here after a couple of weeks break yet again for a little bit more of some Minecraft build challenge. Let's jump right into it and have a look at where we're up to, because it's been a couple of weeks again. So that's right, yes. Yes. We were marking out I guess I should have just thrown the overlay up, shouldn't I? That would have reminded me. Yes, there we go. Excuse me. We're marking out important locations. That's right. Good evening, Tooth. Thank you for joining us in the chat there. Yes, we've left ourselves a couple of breadcrumbs around various states and territories, and yes, we dotted a few right on the border there of Victoria and New South Wales, and yes, it's New South Wales and Queensland are basically the two that are left now for marking out kinda crucial, semi-important, notable locations. Alright. I think we'll have a look at Queensland first, and then we might I'm just checking that's that block, isn't it? Yeah. White concrete. Yes. Okay. Might have a little look at Queensland first. Then we will jump down to New South Wales. Queensland doesn't look all that big when you when you look at it like this. I mean, I guess it kind of does actually. Like, it's so much bigger than New South Wales when you lay it out like this. Coincidentally, I saw a video recently discussing the Alice Springs effect, a cartography phenomenon which is the inverse of the Baltimore effect. Interesting. I'm not sure I'm actually familiar with the Baltimore effect, but I guess by context of Alice Springs, maybe I can deduce where this could be going. Let's see, so I like how all the animals are just like congregated up into the northern tip of Queensland up here. Ah, right, yes, of course, right. So, yep, Alice Springs is usually shown on maps. It's shown on maps that usually wouldn't show a town that small. Baltimore is not. Exactly. Right. Yep. No, I can see that. So again, as we say, capital cities or other important notable locations. So yes, clearly size and things like that is not determining factors on our metric of what's notable. If using a computer map like Google Maps, when you zoom out, Baltimore's one of the first cities to disappear despite being huge. Okay. Speaking of Google Maps and cities, let me bring up my map somewhere here and remind myself of what's even in Queensland that that might be worth noting down. So obviously there's Brisbane, right? But you have to do the Gold Coast, even the Sunshine Coast. Get both of those on there. And then it's picking out whatever else is relatively important or notable. Oh, it's too close to its national capital. Ah. Okay. I guess that makes sense in a way, yeah. Okay, so let's jump over this way. There's an even more extreme example I can't recall the name of. There's apparently a city with tens of millions of people. Too close on maps to Hong Kong. I'm not going to make Hong Kong disappear when you zoom out. Of course, and so it goes first. Yeah, that's interesting how those effects like that can kind of happen. Huh. So we've got Brisbane here, and I've got I've got things like the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast to kind of make note of here. And if we just get super arbitrary about this, without doing a bunch of measuring, there's Brisbane, there's the hooky bit that goes sort of around the Brisbane area. Gold Coast is something like here. Should be closer to the border than I'm making it out to be. In fact, maybe I do some measuring and we see what this is actually going to be. There to there. So up to like the center of Brisbane. Yeah. Center of Brisbane is allegedly like 80 k's above the border, and this is nowhere near 8 blocks. So there's some massive vertical stretching that's happened right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's like an extra 4 or 5 blocks kind of thing. With what's going on with the border here. Yeah. This puts this kind of in line with that. Yeah. Part of this is map projection. Like, there's limits to how nice we can be with some of this sometimes. Yeah, made out of actual gold for the Gold Coast. No, it's going to be made out of whatever this block was. White concrete. And look, let's get super arbitrary here. There it is. It's like barely above the border. It's like 10-20 k's above the border, but if we're going to keep things semi-relative, that means it's about a quarter of the way to the center of here. So if this is like whatever it is, let's get F3 going. If this is like 230 here, and this is like, you know, about 15-16 blocks, quarter of the way, it's like 4 blocks up from here. It's like about here. Gold Coast. Let me do that. It's not the worst thing in the world. It could be better. Sort of, yeah. Looking at the map, doing the best I can. It's not real good. But let's go with that. And how have I been doing these? What sort of signs? Yeah, these ones. These ones. Okay, because we need those ones for those type. So, and it was like this, wasn't it? The Gold Coast equivalent. Let me just check a sign. Yeah, that's what they're all like. Surely these white ones aren't any different to the capital ones. Alright. Yeah, they're using the same conventions. That's what happens when it's been like weeks since I've tuned into my own streams. We'll get there. Alright, so Sunshine Coast then. It's like, yeah, another like 90 k's above Brisbane. Sort of up at about part way up to like up the edge here a bit, so sort of relatively the same amount. So another, you know, keeping things to scale, about, you know, what's this, 30? So this would be like about 16ish, 17, that kind of thing. Same sort of distance. Bam. Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast, Queensland. Alright. What else is on the agenda here? Continuing to head up the coast. Just having a little look around what's up here. I mean, there's so many places you could do. It's just about which one do you actually do? Well, at the very least, we've got to go up and do cans. Way up the top there. Yep, so in terms of lumpity bumpity bits and stuff. What am I looking? Right about there, sort of thing. Yeah, so cans is like on its way up that edge, and as it starts to diagonally tuck back in. So up here we've done all this. I gotta get higher so I can see the state in relative comparison. Yeah. That's it. So way up here, yeah, kind of across from like the tip of the border of Northern Territory there, yeah. So as we're coming up there, it's on that bit that starts to tuck in diagonally, so like about there-ish, yeah. Yeah, so this bit here that sort of starts to tuck in a bit. Let's add a bit of time back on. Yep. Oh, we've gone and done it again. Let's get down here. So, here's this diagonally bit. Zoom in on the other map. Sort of early in that diagonal section there. Just above this knobbly bit here, I think. Yeah, that sticks out and then cans tucks back in a bit. So let's put it right there. There we go. Cans. Long way away from from other things. Feel like we should dot some other things up there to some extent. Let's see. Okay, what have we got? Gonna remind myself of which ones these are. I thought that was Davenport. Right. So, yep, just almost in line with Davenport, a smidge higher. Is Mackay. Yeah. Let's go across-ish this way and just check where we are on the coast. Again, we've got like all these little knobbly bits and stuff to sort of think through what this is actually looking like, what actual coast I've made here. So you've got your bit coming out of Brisbane, and you've got your other bits there. KMK is about there. Right there. You just hover above it. Yeah. Good enough. Okay. Also got, if I keep going further up here a bit more, somewhere in here, out here-ish. Yeah. Let's get rid of that one. Look out of there. Okay. So again, in terms of placement and things. Oh, yep. A little bit higher than Tennant Creek. Yep. Yep. Which is over there from the looks of it. Yes. Alright. So, that's that hooky bit there. And we're somewhere about here. Again, roughly speaking. Damn, good enough. Townsville City. Alright. That's starting to put at least a couple of names up the coast for future projects and things. Alright. What have we got on the interior? What would be handy to have? Maybe Mount Isa City. That would be handy to have, just as a reference point. Mount Isa right there. So, distance-wise, this will be the tricky part. It's about 150 k's in from the border, and it's just ever so slightly above Davenport. So we can use Davenport. So we're talking about 15 blocks in from the border. So at like 285. This sort of range here. And compared to Townsville, compared to Davenport, it's like 1 or 2 blocks above it. Yeah, it's like next to no difference. Curvature of the Earth and all that. Yeah, like, yeah, let's say here. That kind of thing. Alright, Mount Isa. Okay. What else have we got that's maybe handy? How about yeah, what about Birdsville? Distance from there to there. 10 k's, 1 block. Okay. And almost straight down from Mount Isa. Basically straight down from Mount Isa. Okay. Alright, whoa, look at that timing. There we go. So basically straight down, but only like a block or 2 above the thing. So what are we? 85, 285. Zip down there. 285, like literally here. On the bend of the border there. Would be a good spot for it. Right there. Birdsville. Alrighty. Let's see what else. So that helps to mark out sort of central interior bits of Queensland there. We might want some good other interior bits. Anything? There's lots of all these other bits in here, but let's see. Just scrolling my way through central Queensland. Problem is, there's lots of networking roads and things deep in Queensland here, so it's hard to find ones that would make for good landmarks. I guess. Yeah. What about we try? Because we've got like Emerald and Long Range and all sorts of things here. ambitious I'm going to get with some of these roads a bit later. So maybe Emerald, Longreach, Rockhampton. Yeah, Emerald, Longreach, Rockhampton. There might be some good central ones here. And I guess Toowoomba. And that might have us done for Queensland. Alright, Longreach, Emerald, Rockhampton, then Toowoomba. Okay, let's figure out how to get to these places. So, again, curvature is going to make this very difficult to map out well. But in terms of vertical distance, Longreach is somewhere about the midpoint of those two that we just did then, Mount Isa and Birdsville. But then travel like 480 blocks east from there. So sort of a midpoint between these two. And then travel another 480 k's, so 48 blocks that way. So what are we at in terms of coordinates? This is a 205. $147. Well, pretend it was 145. That's 60. So about 30 blocks. So about 175-ish. About 175-ish. But what are we at? We're at like 285. We're going to go like another 48 blocks this way. So if it was 282, 48 blocks there would take us to 340. So like 340, 343-ish. 343-ish. I mean, it's as arbitrary as it's going to be. Curvature and all other things considered. That's just going to be near enough is good enough. There's no way I can get this that accurate. It's going to be within like 100 kilometers of here. That sort of thing. So this one's Longreach. Okay. So if that one's there, then to get from Longreach to Emerald, we're just going to go like another 400 kilometers straight across. So about another 40 blocks east of here. Literally. So and I just completely got my... Yep, what have I done? What have I done? I was about to say I've completely got my east-west mixed up. I put a sideways sign down. Oh, that was awkward. No wonder I couldn't work out what way I was facing. Oh, it's because I came across like that, because I came from... Yeah. Ah! That's the first time that's happened. Oh, dear. Alright, so fix that up, and then we can... I was trying to work out why my Z and my X weren't going the correct way. I'm like, I was going across, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's not going up, because I was going that way, and I'm like, it's not going up, it's going down. How is that possible? But, yeah. So, Longreach should be this way. That's better. Perfect. Okay, so now what did I say? Like 40 blocks from here. That's better. So, yep, our 343 kind of thing to all the way to 383. That sort of territory. About here-ish. Oh yeah, so where does that line up? Yeah, that's about right. It's part way in between these two in terms of its vertical height. So the curvature's not that bad. Alright. If anything, no, it is pretty close to the midpoint. So I will come back in a bit, like about here. So this will be emerald. Alright. Yeah, yes, long reach is like the Uranus of Queensland towns. It's got that northy southy kind of vibe, whereas all other towns have got that sort of east west flavour to them. Alright, so and then to get from Emerald to Rockhampton City, same sort of thing. We're gonna just keep going across another 230 k's, another 23 blocks. But in terms of height alignment, is there a... Yeah, go up like 2 or 3 blocks. Go up by like, yeah, 2 or 3 blocks. So about 23 blocks across and up 2 or 3, and then we just sort of assess where that is relative to the coast. So across another 23. 402, which is dangerous because that's here, and then up a couple puts us like there. How does that feel for where that sits on the coast? Let me have a little look at this on the coast. You know, that's not actually so terrible. Yeah, I can live with that. That's fine by me. Rockhampton. Cooled. Okay. And then, what's the other one? Down here somewhere. Toowoomba. That's it. How are we possibly going to get Toowoomba in? About 10 or 11 blocks west of the centre of Brisbane, and a smidge down, like 1 block down from the centre. So find what we consider to be the centre of Brisbane, which we'll say is like here. So go down like 1 block. So about in line with the sign, and we're looking at like about 10 blocks across from there. So literally 412. Yeah. Like here. That sort of thing. Toowoomba. 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 There we go. Okay. So that's given us a a bunch of reference points across Queensland. That's not so bad. Okay. I'm looking at poor, sad old Western Australia over there now. I'm almost having second thoughts. Ooh, just spotted that in the chat there. Let us get ourselves a quick ban on that. There we go. Yeah, is there... Am I having second thoughts about Western Australia before we dive into New South Wales? Let me have a quick squiz at a map. Excuse me. That's Broome, isn't it? Yeah, that's Broome up there. Let me double check that that's Broome. Yeah, it has to be. Looking at where that is on the map. Okay, that's Broome. Port Hedland. Let me get that one in there. Not super critical, but again, just a nice reference point for things. So let's see, whereabouts are we looking? Up here. Kind of up about here somewhere. Here somewhere. That'll do. That'll do. About here somewhere. Port Hedland. Whoa, that's not how you spell that at all. Port Hedland. Wow. There we go. Sneaky bonus one for Western Australia. Just because I was feeling a bit sad for it. Alright. Which means we now zip over to the dense state. New South Wales, and all the many possible things that we could be putting in here. So, we'll start with the East Coast and do notable things on it, and then we'll go inland. So, from Sydney, as a reference point, what's noteworthy in New South Wales? When the Google Maps zoomed out on Western Australia, one of the towns still visible was Gibson Desert North. Clicked on it and the profile that came up was a featureless photo of nothing from an airplane. Has a postcode though. Interesting. Okay. Sure. Let's see. Okay, so I mean obviously if you got up from Sydney, next big thing's Newcastle. So oops. What are we sort of locating that at distance wise? Like vertically it's about 100 kilometers ish north of Sydney. So vertically we're talking about 10 blocks up from here. So at about 290. Somewhere up here. Like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. I guess it sort of does, yeah. I'm looking at what's happening here. Yeah, as that hooks out there. Yes, it is. It's here. Okay. Okay. Now, I feel like the footprint of Newcastle probably should be a little bit more generous. Yeah, there we go. So the footprint of Newcastle, if I get a rough measurement on that, You know, it does. It reaches 2 blocks inland. And its height is a bit hard to sort of determine, but 2 to 3 blocks of height. It's got a bit of sort of a lake around near it, which makes it a bit hard to track down. But, you know. That sort of thing. That's a little bit too big, I think. I think I'll take a bit of that out. But let's roughly speaking, and I might even take this one out. I don't wanna really over exaggerate it heaps. Let's call this and actually I'll do it 1 block higher. There we go. Newcastle. Yes, the Baltimore effect in action exactly. When zooming out enough for Newcastle to disappear because it gets too close to Sydney, all these other little tiny towns are suddenly still visible. Yeah, no, I see your point exactly now. Looking at a map like this of these places. Yeah. So as we sort of, you know, and do I split the difference here a little bit? There's next to no room here, but let me just have again a little look at what I've got. Yeah, about 5 blocks that way, about literally sort of halfway-ish, and a block inland. Yeah, whoa, nighttime. Literally about halfway-ish. So if this is 290, about 295-ish, and a block inland, let's call that Gosford, right there. Oh. It's not Gosford. There we go. Alright, let's not get too hung up on everything in between Sydney and Newcastle. As we keep travelling, well, I'm going further north up the coast. We've got Taree, got all sorts of things. So let's try that. Let's get our measuring stick going. Newcastle to Taree again is vertical displacement, sort of 120 from centre to centre there. So about 12 more blocks north. From sort of that 290, so 278-ish. And I feel like it's, how far inland are we talking? Yeah, 2 blocks inland would be fine. There we go, this is Taree. And then next up the coast would be Port Macquarie, which again vertical displacement about 50, another 5 blocks up, but this one's on the coast, so 273, that one there. quarry. Then your next one after there is like Coffs Harbour. Hmm. 120 to 130, depending upon which way you split things. So from here, 273, so that's 12 to 13. So 260 to 261. Again, we'll go on the coast. Well, let's do another hooky bit like that then. Coffs Harbour. And this is where the border effect is going to start to come in here. The weird wonkiness of the border is going to become increasingly apparent all of a sudden, because this should be something like 230 k's to the border. It should be like 23 blocks from there to the border. So if that's like 260-ish, 240, 238. Yeah, so this border does need to be several blocks higher. You know, like this whole thing should go up a smidge. So we might just have to compress a little bit of distance here. But what would be next up here anyway? You've got so many options. Grafton, Yamba, Lismore, Ballina, Byron Bay. Maybe maybe we need a tiebreaker. Maybe if Skeevers is within earshot, she might be able to help us decide which city to do. Somewhere between Coffs Harbour as we head up the north coast of New South Wales.
Yeah.
Eventually you get to the border and you hit the Gold Coast and you're into Queensland.
Yeah.
So there's lots of possible locations here. You got Grafton, you got Yamba, you got Lismore, you got Ballina, you got Byron Bay, you got Tweed Heads. Can't place all of them because some of them are like literally 2 blocks apart of each other.
You've got to do Byron.
Got to do Byron Bay.
Everybody in Australia knows about Byron Bay.
Yeah, right. So
Or the hippies or whatever. the hipsters, sorry.
I was going to say you
Yeah.
blend in demographics there. Katooth's got to vote for Grafton because Byron gets too much attention. Okay, well then let's go one of each. Let's go a Grafton and we'll go a Byron Bay, and we'll skip out on all those others in the middle. Excuse me. Like I say, some of these are going to be like just 2 or 3 blocks apart, so we can't put all of them in. So let me sneak up to a Grafton, which, yeah, you know, 7 blocks above Coffs, but then we're going to have to go inland a bit. So let me, and we're compressing distance, let me make it 6 blocks above. So like 255, but I'm going to have to go inland a bit. So from the coast, potentially 4 blocks inland. That sort of thing. Nah, it needs to be more. When you look at that compared to Coffs, I have to go 1 there. That sort of thing. Yeah. Still not great. Still don't like how that border's affecting things, but it'll do. So if I call this Grafton, and again let's just check the border, so 255. That border's like 11 blocks up there. That's 110 k's up there. That doesn't feel good. Yeah, it's like 150. Yeah. Maybe we bring it down 1 block lower, just to help the compression a bit. Oh, we're not Queensland, we're New South Wales. Okay. And then how do we get from there to Byron Bay? Byron Bay's obviously right on the coast. So let's say, so vertically compared to Grafton, it's like, 115-ish out of the 150. So it's almost 12 out of 15. It's almost 80% of the way there in vertical height. Okay, so what are we talking? Like 56 to 12. Yeah, okay. So like 80% of the way there, so like 9 to 10 blocks up. That's only leaving us like... Yeah, can't do that. Can't do 9 to 10. Because it's like another 50 from it to the border. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it's like here, sort of thing. Let me clear all that off. Byron Bay's on a... Yeah, technically Byron Bay I think is this hooky yaddy bit here. Maybe. It's one of these bits. If I follow it across... No, it's got to line up with, like, yeah. Looking at the way the border wanders in there, lining it up with bits of the border. Byron Bay. Let me swing back across there. It's definitely more northern than the flat part of the Queensland and New South Wales border. It's sort of in the middle of its wiggly bits. It's in line with like this top bit of the wiggly bits. So, it could do with being a block or two higher, but this needs to be higher. So, I think this is just going to have to do. Can't bring it lower. So, right here. Ah, Lord Byron Bay. Alright. In South Wales. Okay, so, that's kind of like the east coast of Australia done, at least the northern strip of the east coast. We can pop down to this lower bit down here. Talk a bit of east coast, south of Sydney. Oh, have we got another one? Just looked away again. Yep, likely ban evader. Restricted. Not published to chat. Ah, that's why no one said anything. You guys can't see that. Alright. Ban them again. Bam. Alright, looks right to me. Maybe one lower. I think that bit sticking out was Ballina. You're right. I was sort of looking at that too. Let me go back to the map. Because I did this at such like horrible resolution. Yeah, if that bit sticking out was Ballina. Yeah, it might be one block lower, now that you say that. Like there. Yeah, it's just I'm not keen on the way that the coast curves out like that. Which is, again, yeah, because this border should be way up higher. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, except Byron Bay is east of Brisbane. Oh. Oh, you're right, it is. Yeah. Yeah, because this border should be so much further up here, and this should probably be a bit more up on this bit here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's happened with that. But yep. We'll just ignore that, I think. I had my eyes on Wollongong and stuff like that down here. Let me work out how far apart some of these things are down this way. So from kind of like your rough middle of Sydney. You know, 65 k's straight down south of Sydney. You hit your Wollongong, where there's like no action on the coast to help me out here. So we'll just call it, 60 from sort of like this middle bit of Sydney here. So like 308. There you go, this one here. Bam, Wollongong. Alright. Wollongong. Did I? Yeah, I just had a sudden, had to double check. I actually wrote New South Wales and all of those. Yep, I saw Grafton, Queensland there, and I'm like, wait a minute, but no, I think I corrected that at the time. Alright, so there's Wollongong. What else are we measuring here? So as you keep running down, you could do a lot of things. Like, let's skip past, Nowra, Ladala, all this sort of stuff. Bateman's Bay, maybe. Bateman's Bay, Bega, yeah. I like Bega. Alright, Bateman's Bay and Bega. How do we mark them out? So Bateman's Bay is like 14-15 blocks south of Wollongong, sort of further on that bit that's tucking down there, where we're down into here. Ooh, steady on, horsey. We're below Canberra. We're still within the bounds of the ACT, so that's kind of our reference point. So, which looks super chunky, because of its like, square corner borders like that. But that's just what that is. 14-15 down from Wollongong. 308. So 322, 23. Yeah, I like putting things on like single points like that. So I'm going to go here. And then we're going to look at that and notice how that's perfectly in line with Canberra. And we recall exactly what I just said. And we move it down to this one here. That would be better. In that lower part of the ACT there. A bit of vertical stretching. Since we compressed the top half of the state, we've got to stretch the bottom half a little bit. So there's Bateman's Bay. And as we start running down, from there down to Bega. Ah, right, yes. I made a Grafton, Queensland sign and then moved it north and destroyed it, and in the process fixed it. Yes. Yep. Now that makes sense. I remember that now. Bega. 100 to 110, 10 to 11 blocks down from Bateman's Bay. If you went across west from it, you kind of hit that point where the wiggly border with Victoria suddenly goes diagonal. Suddenly does that straight diagonal, which Straight diagonals in Minecraft are notoriously hard to do, but it's sort of about here somewhere. So, is that about 10-ish blocks below here? 10, 11 blocks below here? Probably way more than that. That's 24. We're looking at 34. Oh, would you look at that? I love these nice cornery bits. So Bega's not really on the coast. It's one in, let's say. Oh, it's basically on that diagonally bit, isn't it? It is a smidge above it. It'll do. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Bega. Whoa, that's way too many letters. Okay. So that's got like our coast done there. And we need to just start ducking in a little bit to some of these interior points. Let's see. We've got Albury, don't we? This is Albury, isn't it? Yes, Albury, Victoria. Albury, New South Wales. Perfect. So, relative to Albury, let me hop up to Wagga. You know, 10 blocks north. And like 2 or 3 blocks east. Let's get that sun going. Do. So about 10 blocks-ish north. So back to I didn't even pay attention to what that was. 328. So about 318. About 2 or 3 blocks east. So how's that for Wagga? Just above the tip of Canberra. Actually, I'm gonna go one lower. I mean, it sort of lines up with pretty close to the tip of the ACT. So I think we'll go with that. That one's Wagga Wagga. Okay. What else is noteworthy in this area? I'm gonna do Goulburn just for reference. And I guess I should be trying to do it kind of relative to Canberra as well. So it's about 6 blocks above Canberra, like above the centre of Canberra, and then 5 blocks east. So we call this the centre of Canberra. What did I say? 6 blocks above the centre of Canberra. So 315. Excuse me. About 5 blocks east from here. So maybe one more block across from there. Let's just get a sense of how that sits. That's probably fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's gotta click back in the window. Oh, there we go. Trying to type on the previous line. That's Goulburn, New South Wales. Okay. If we're in this kind of vicinity of places, you might want, say, Orange and Parks and Dubbo and all that sort of stuff up there. Yeah, like 22 blocks above that centre of Canberra again. But also directly in line with Gosford-ish. Okay, so 22 blocks-ish above Canberra, which should line up with Gosford, so Canberra, yeah, so at about 300? Is that where Gosford is? Nearly. So about here-ish. So we're in the 296 line, this sort of line, but how far across was it compared to everything? So from there, straight up to there. Oh, I tell you what. It's like only just... It's still kind of above the ACT, it's only just beside Canberra. Yeah, there. That sort of thing. That's orange right there. Okay, and relative to it then, relative to orange, Parks and Dubbo, you're going to go about, 8 to 9 blocks across. But maybe like 1 block up. So from here, $63.64. And like 1 block up. How's that line? So it lines us up with like the squiggly part of there. Is that true? Kinda should be across another 1 or 2 from that. So I'll move it across 1. Also thunderstorm, bit of ambience. So this is Parks. And then to get from Parks up to Dubbo. That's about 3 or 4 blocks across. And about 10 blocks up. About 4 blocks across. About 10 up. Whoa, we've got fire briefly. Lightning setting fire to the country. Need the cane fields up there or something. Alright. What did I say? About 10 blocks up from here, so 295, so 285-ish. About there-ish. That seems fair. Where's that? Oh, there's more fire over there. Good thing there's nothing flammable at the moment. That puts us a bit above Newcastle there. Like, just above Newcastle. How does that compare? Yeah, Dubbo is, above Newcastle. Maybe one more. Nah, I changed my mind. Move it back. Alright. Dubbo. Let's go to the next day, because it's definitely like nighttime rain. Let's make it daytime rain. So, if there's Dubbo, what else have we got around up this way? Looking in the inland parts of things. Mudgee, Merriwell, Musselbrook, Scone. All this kind of stuff. Musselbrook and Dubbo are almost like perfectly horizontal from each other. Musselbrook's just a smidge higher. Yeah, like go up 1 block. Cross like 215. Above the footprint of Sydney, slightly west of Wollongong. Go up 1 block. So go about 21 across from Dubbo. Hello, Piggy. Oh, you see that lightning? So from 367 go to about 388. 388 on this 285. So 388. Then like up 1-ish. And check where that lines up with things. It's could go with maybe another 2 across. Oh, is that Wollongong there? Yeah, no, I think that's fine. That's fine. And we're, yeah, we're about there. Okay. That's Musselbrook. Muswellbrook. Okay. Alright. Excuse me. Let's see. Just have a little look here for a sec. Let me just get... No, this one. We'll just sit that there for now. And we'll deal with that later. Okay. Whoop, what have I done with that block? Still in my hand. Oh, that was dangerous. Alright. So... what about Musselbrook? Wow, we're getting a lot of people in the chat here. Again, this one's another automatically hidden from the chat. Possible ban evader. They're loving this for some reason. Yeah, you see nothing. Yes, it's another one of these that's hidden from the chat. Yeah, I hear nothing. Nothing. Yes. No, it's just I flick back to the chat every now and then and I see there's another one that's on the restricted view list of its holding their comment because it thinks that they're evading ban, and they are. So we'll wipe them once again. Let's see. So back to the main event. What are we doing here? We just did Musselbrook, so Tamworth. That's another good one. Musselbrook to Tamworth, basically directly north of each other. Or directly north-south of each other. About 13 blocks. So... 271. Yeah. Yep. Tamworth. Okay. Alright. Let's see. I guess we should do Moree up the top there too. Moree kind of how does that line up with Grafton? About 2 blocks above Grafton. There's a height. And it's about 30 blocks west of Grafton. So, relative to Grafton, and then we'll check that against over there, we'll triangulate. So, about 30 west of here, so 388. About 2 blocks higher. So how does that compare with borders and with all sorts of things? Yeah, that's not so bad in terms of where it is compared to the shape of the border. Feels like it's completely the wrong distance from the border. Yeah, the border's like 10, 11 blocks away. So this is at 54. Well, that's only like 8 blocks away. So it could go down 1. And then how does this compare to that? That's like This is at 390. 388, so that's only like 20 across from Tamworth. Well, that ain't true. It's like 100 across from Tamworth. It's almost as far across as Orange. Have I carried a 10 wrong? Oh, it's the east-west stretching, isn't it? Let me check. This was like... Yeah, this was like 300 from Grafton. So... Yeah, 88. Wow. That's such a drastic east-west stretch there. Why are there so many ban evaders? Another hidden chat message. Maybe it's my rapid banning of all of these ban evaders that's creating engagement in the chat and making more of them appear. That's like got to be a record number of chatters. What am I going to do about this? So, like, Dubbo should be lining up. Let me push that again. So, Dubbo over here. Dubbo should be lining up with the point at which the bend starts to happen, and the bend doesn't start happening until way over here. But apparently that's where that lines up with Dubbo. So I've got some massive bend issues here. I really don't want to have to do this whole Queensland border edge here. But... you might have to fake this one pretty hard. So relative to Tamworth there, and relative to Dubbo there. From Tamworth, you're going across, another 100 blocks, another 100 Ks. You're almost halfway to Dubbo. In terms of how far across we're going. So we're at 390. Dubbo, this is Dubbo, right? Yeah. Even if we call that 370, so like 380. You'd be running this right across like 380. Shifting it from there to there, making it that much further from Grafton, but in a better triangle now compared to these guys, which I think unfortunately is what I'm going to need for internal consistency of the structure of New South Wales. Like that lines that up now with the beginning of that hook there. Which that is not the case. This hook should have started back here. Too many too many sacrifices and allowances made to scale in certain parts that now, as I'm putting these more detailed reference points in the middle, as I'm starting to put these more detailed reference points in the middle, they're really beginning to show up the limitations of what I've been doing. But let's not put way too many towns in here. That's Moree. Had Mildura on the border there, yeah. Broken Hill and Burke might be the only other ones worth doing in here. Broken Hill, Burke, and Hay. Alright. Let's try and get ourselves up to Burke. From where things are. Burke is like... Do we have Shepperton? We do. Burke is like directly above Shepperton. And directly across from Coffs Harbour. Maybe a smidge higher. So, at 336... And where's Coffs? That one. That's Coffs. 261. So that would seem to be Burke. Practically, Burke should be 12 blocks south of the border. It's slightly more than that, but let's go up a smidge. There we go. Call that one Burke. Yeah, I think the twisty border doesn't end nearly high enough. No, absolutely. There are some massive issues with this twisty border here. I'm assuming you're talking about the Queensland twisty border, as opposed to that twisty one down there. But yeah, this one needs to the big straight line when it goes into the kind of heartbeat twist here. It needs to start this way earlier and get a bit higher. And then when it ends up here, it needs to end up higher up the coast here as well. Yeah. At this scale, it should just about be hitting Gold Coast. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes, nah, there are some serious issues with this bit here. I think I just did this completely by hand, by sight. But yes, I'm sure I must have measured from there down to where it started. But, yeah, curvature of the Earth and all other things, that should be like another 5 or so blocks back this way. And then start to do that sort of feature and be a bit higher and all that. But yeah. So that's Burke. What was the other one? Broken Hill. Now how am I gonna line it up? Broken Hill. We've got Mildura, don't we? So I can line it up with Mildura and with the border. Yes, Mildura Wentworth. Right. So... I just saw something in my peripheral on the screen there and panicked briefly, but it was just that horse walking into frame. Oh dear. Scary moment then. So we're going about 24 blocks north from here. So to about 280. That sort of distance up. And relative to the border, we're like, 40 k's across from the border on this side here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go one more. About there-ish. I'll sneak one more across. And we'll call that Broken Hill. Okay. And what was the other one I said? Burke, Broken Hill, and... oh, and Hay. Hey, how am I going to do Hay? This is almost straight above Melbourne, smidge to the west. It does line up with some other things. I can eyeball this, I reckon. So... I've lost sight of it briefly. Okay, so let's see. So up from Melbourne, there's Mildura. We've got to be down a bit from here. Sorta. Kind of in this sort of a line up here, and maybe there, just in relative sort of positioning. I'd say, what's that do compared to Canberra? Whoa, whoa, that's in line with Wollongong. No, we're a smidge below Wollongong. Nah, split the difference. Okay, that'll do. Hey. To within plus or minus 30 Ks. Hey. Okay. I think that's New South Wales done. Have a little look at things. Okay. Right. So, market, capital cities and other important locations. Reasonably satisfied with that. Some could definitely be better. That's not so bad. I could have left longitude and latitude lines this whole time and cleaned them up at the end. You're right, I could have left all my, like grid-liney sort of pylons and stuff. Except they were under the terrain. But I could have put some, over top grid lines or something and yeah, done that. But I mean, the curvature of the Earth would make that look even weirder at this point, because you've got to remember that, all of these here, they're straight lines. And they've got some fun curves happening on them. Yeah, something to keep in mind for the next map I do. Yes, exactly. If Novak ever twists my arm to do the the British Isles or something. Also, did you do New Zealand cities? I did. Yep, those ones there. They're the notable New Zealand cities. And don't forget about that bit of New Zealand that just goes into the void there too. And we've done a tiny bit of Tasmania. So, all right. Let's let's pause the cough without muting the microphone. Let's have a quick hydration break there. All right. And where is my overlay text? What about we go something like, oh, is that completely frozen? No. Something like this. How about we update that to that? Alright, overlay updated. Current objective, place down some of the major roads and highways. So this is going to be absolute nightmare fest, because nothing's to scale anymore. We've just made creative liberties everywhere. So we are going to make the creative liberties even more aggressive with these highways and things now, because we are just going to use some of these cities as reference points and just connect things according to what they need to go through, which means we need another block palette, and I think maybe I'm going to start over in the densely location heavy New South Wales, because we've just been there and done a lot of these places. So we need a block palette that's that's going to kind of do roads and things. Maybe black, because roads are black. As long as that shows up well. Like, let me have a look. Like, we've got and you know, maybe thinking about what these are. Like, we had red sand for the border. We had yellow concrete for the cities. So maybe we need a concrete for roads. Dark grey, here we go. So we obviously got grey wool. I don't think we could do walls. Terracotta? We could do a grey terracotta or something. Can't believe you didn't use gold for gold coast and emerald for emerald. I know, it's literally in the game. And wool for Wollongong. Ah, of course. Here we go, grey concrete. I haven't got dark grey, but I've got grey as opposed to light grey. So maybe we place down a bit of grey concrete. See what that's going to look like. Oh, I've got concrete powder, which puts texture back into it. We're definitely not using glazed terracotta. That's way too fancy. And I'm not using shulker boxes. That would just be maniacal. And then, you know, you got building blocks and natural blocks. Like you got woods and things, but I wouldn't use a wood. Like I've got stones and stuff. You know, deep slate, polished tuff, all this sort of stuff. Like we could be basalt, cracked polished blackstone bricks. Block of netherite. No, that's way too expensive. And then just like natural blocks, mud. Do some mud roads, obsidian, you know, blackstone, ores and things. I think we'll stick with the concretes. It's not bedrock. Yeah. Let's not overdo this. Ow. So, and these are going to be just like one tile wide. So let me do like a little test bit of highway. So we've got some highway there. Or we've got some highway here. So it's got to work from a couple of different levels. It's got to work from like up close, because like you got like the sandy texture. You know, grass is grainy, the sandy texture of the borders are grainy, but the cities, the capital cities and the minor cities are smooth blocks. So either we go again the grainy texture to match in with the grass texture for road, or we go the solid smooth texture to match in with the cities that it's going to connect to. You know, we're going to have roads that are going to connect into cities. Do we want it to be like smooth going into cities, or do we specifically want, you know, nice texture going into a city? And I don't really want to go down to the distinction of, well, maybe make one a highway and make one like a not highway, or maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe now that I'm saying that, maybe it's the solid concrete for like the proper like, you know, national highways. And then it's this one for the ones that are not the lesser highways. It's not a class system here or anything, but but I am talking myself into this. The more I say this, the more I'm preparing myself to do exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. You're right, I didn't even zoom out to see what that looked like. Too late now. We're going to do it and then we're going to see what it looks like zoomed out. Yeah, we spoke about how good it was going to look down close. Let's just imagine the texture relative to these other things. So you can see the little bit of texture on the oranges, you can see the smoothness on the golds. What about railways? No. If we're going to do railways, we're going to end up doing inland bodies of water and terrain and vegetation and everything. We've got to draw the line somewhere. Could do those with fences. I could do those with minecart tracks. I could do railways with actual rail tracks. But yeah. I mean, I could do roads with minecart rails if we wanted to get like really, you know, riding a minecart around the country. But I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we need a working road system. We can just walk the roads. But all right. Let me look back at my map and work out what I'm doing here. Am I doing this from this map? Am I doing this from some other map? Let me have a look at that. Let me bring up one of my other map files I've got here. Desktop, that one. What about these? Is this a map? Are you a map? I can't remember what files I've saved. That's kind of a map. I'm not sure that's going to help me build anything though. That's sort of a map. Let's put that one over here. Move you onto this screen. How do you compare to something like that? That's very rough. But it at least gives me, again, like ballpark sort of roads and connections. Yeah, you guys can't see what I'm doing. It's all off camera, but it's basically going to be good enough. If I'm averaging my coasts and averaging these cities, I can average half these roads as well. Okay. So, from Sydney, this is going to be the worst possible part. Just from Sydney, because Sydney's an absolute mess here. We need a road that goes down through Wollongong, down through Bateman's Bay, down through Bega, and basically follows the coast. Yeah. Coming out of that part of Sydney there. Road down into Wollongong. Coming out of Wollongong. Following the coast. It's gonna duck in a little bit as we start to draw level to Goulburn. Yep. So we're gonna... There we go, down to Bateman's Bay. And that's going to basically head us down to Bega, with again a tiny bit of inland sort of above Bega there. That does go across and touch the coast quicker than I was accounting for there. And once it goes across there, it basically sticks the coast. It weaves in, but like less than 10 k's. Okay, there's a start. Down to Bega there. And road might look better with diagonal corners, not orthogonal ones. Yeah, I know, I was thinking about that. Because it does make the road very thick. Plus we also get weird effects like that where we're going into and out of towns like that. And I'm on the fence with how thick the ACT looks here anyway, and because we have a lot of diagonally bits here, so yeah, maybe we experiment with diagonally bits. Yeah, something like that. Is that acceptable? I'm not sure how I feel about that. There we go. Yeah. So when we're on such a large scale like this, looking at the differences between just this like sparse diagonal bit here and this thicker sort of connected arterial bit up here. Yeah, maybe I sparse this out, see it on a bit bigger of a scale here. Get in there. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Yeah, let's do that. Makes it more consistent with the borders and things as well. Really. Yep. Sold. Alright. So, was I going anywhere from Bega here, or what was the play here? Like, we could, yeah, continue to run that down around there. Where's my other map gone? What have I got? I got nothing here for reference, so that means that this is going to be just full creative mode. as to how this goes. Come out a bigger diagonally there. Ooh. And now here's my next challenge. Yoink. Just like that. We're just gonna cut through a border. Just as it goes. And that's gonna go across a bit more until we sort of get down a bit lower here. And as we get in line with that, it is going to duck down there briefly. Hello. Horse is waving at me. Check how this is looking on my other map. Yeah, okay. Oh wow, they're back again. Heroic Electrician. That's another creative name. What was the pink square near Sydney? It looks like a leftover guide stick. Really? Rail tracks would have solved this problem. They actually would have, now that you say that. Pink bit near Sydney. Were you thinking of that pig? That pig is a pink thing near Sydney. So I see nothing else pink from any angle that we would have seen. Yes, yes, rail would have solved this problem. Maybe the pig just became a pink square. Yeah. Ah, that pink square there. This one. I reckon it was the target block. Just looked briefly pink. Yes. We'll leave that target block there for later. That'll be future project. I really don't want to do rail, but if I have to do rail, I'll do rail. Let me just get out rail. Rail's a redstone block, isn't it? Yep. Powered rail, activator rail, just regular rail. Rails will turn diagonally, yes. Rails will do exactly what you expect them to do. Let's put these all back. So, like, rails will do that. And then if rails come along here, and I put rail there, it will turn. So, if I go boop 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 boop, it's not a diagonal block per se, but it will wiggle a diagonal. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it's not gonna be smart enough to do that. It would need something like that to make that happen. Which puts us back in the old style of how we did things. Yeah, those orthogonal corners that we cut out. Yeah. Yeah. And the other difficulty too is as you get further out, it starts to look a little bit funnier. Like it sort of starts to blur into the landscape and do that weird strobing effect as well as you move around. Terraria rails go diagonal. Yes, but Terraria is also working on a different number of dimensions. Coloured blocks under the rail. Like what? You know, if we had white, and I know that's just white wool, but problem with white, of course, is it's gonna mess with the cities. Yeah, this is basically 2D. It would have been pretty hilarious watching you try and make this with gravity at play. Absolutely. We would have needed a completely different approach if I was making this sideways and out of sand. I'm not sure that I'm satisfied with how these rails are looking no matter what I'm doing with them. I think we just pretend that the rails were a good suggestion that were just never mentioned. Whoop. Like, yeah, the rails are great for like the fine detail up close. Like, you know, running a track around Australia, like actually like doing the walking path. Rails would be fun. But yeah, like big picture, I'm not keen on how they look in broad strokes. Yeah. So, I guess that means we're back to playing with whatever it was I was trying to make up here with this bit of road. It's just bounced off Lake's entrance there somewhere, and now we're just gonna arbitrarily wiggle around for a bit. I'm gonna come down here for a bit. Gotta get my two clicking fingers going a bit better. Sort of up into there. There we go. And we've entered Melbourne. That kind of thing. Right. So there's a bit of something going on there. In terms of oh dear, oh no, now I've closed my image. Can't hit escape on that. That's disastrous. Alright. There it is back again. So what is that road? Where's Google Maps? That's the road that takes us up through Albury. And then goes up sort of beside Wagga. Not through Wagga, but beside Wagga. Okay. Alright, I can do that. I can try to do that. So it's where's Shepparton? Here. Comes out just beside Shepparton. You know, from the northern part here. Makes its way up, goes a little bit across, and then shoots a massive diagonal to Albury, which is like way compressed and way over there, which means we can't go that far like that. We're gonna have to really again compress that back. And that sort of thing. Come up to Albury. We're going to come out the other side of Albury. Shoot just past Wagga here. Where are we compared to Canberra? That's gonna hook back around and rejoin Sydney. How is it doing that? What is this? Am I following the wrong road now? I've got two maps that are telling me two slightly different things. Yeah. Yep, I'm blurring between which two roads I'm looking at now. Yeah. Yep, I can't. Yeah, one of my other simplified maps is oversimplifying two different sets of highways here. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, let's try and correct for that. So, I had a bit of time back on. So this one here that's dodging past Wagga, it's going to have gone up past Canberra, and it's the road that's going to go back through Goulburn and run back up past Wollongong. So we're going to get all the way over to Goulburn here, coming in at the side. We can actually have been coming in the side here. So let's exaggerate this back a bit. Nah, that one was fine. Okay. Alright, so we're coming into the side of Goulburn there. We're going to rush back up. We're going to brush beside Wollongong and shoot up into Sydney that way. So we can come out of that side of no. There we go. That'll do. So that's another connector back to Sydney that way. Alright. But the other one that was coming out of Albury that actually does go up through Wagga comes up and curls just under Orange. So there's other one that's coming out of Albury much more northerly. And I've got no choice, that sort of thing's going to happen. We're going to have little moments like that from time to time. That one comes through Wagga like that. Continues on that sort of diagonal. We're going to scoot under Orange and then come back in to like this part here. So again, just completely making this up. We've got to get this diagonal bend going again. Oop. Just full on diagonal. Just again, gross oversimplification of what's going on here. That sort of thing. Okay. Alright. We're getting some real interesting effects now. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. It's almost like a kind of eye test. What shape is he drawing? I sort of seem like a boot sort of thing at the moment. Inside of a big slipper. Okay, so continuing from where I'm working from, so I don't get myself too confused. We've got that one from Wagga that's running across through Hay and through whatever those places are there. Let's check that out. Through Wentworth, Mildura, yep, and all that. Yep, runs up to Hay, runs all the way over there. Goes up through Wentworth, Mildura. And then basically just does a flat west till it hits the edge. So this one here has a little connector that comes out of it through Wagga, up through Hay, up through there, then straight west, and we just make that up as we go. That one there. Wagga's got a lot of roads going into it. It's got a lot of junction happening here. Oh, jump scared by the music there briefly. And then it kicks up a little bit. Rises briefly above Hay. And takes us into Hay. And as we come out of Hay, does some crazy stuff, sort of down, across, and then it shoots its way up there. It skirts just above that border. Does something insane like that. And which one does it actually go through? Technically, it's going through Mildura. Yes. If we're being proper about this. I'm just going to do it diagonally like that. And then it just rides across. Okay, oop, that was the wrong way. I should do the other bit of Melbourne here. Oh, I just noticed a heap of chat in the chat there. Ah, good evening, Nora Hogan. Ah, how are you? Can I ask you something? Want to know? Trying to know that you are interested in artwork. If you don't mind asking, I'm gonna just go and show you my samples there. Interesting. Interesting. Not sure I'm consider myself much of an artist. This is about the closest that we are coming to art. The Minecraft Build Challenge of mapping out the country. Let's see. So we need... What's this looking like from Melbourne? Yeah, so we need this kind of coastal one that takes us up through Mount Gambier. But then this other one that shoots us up above that into Adelaide. So what does that actually look like? So coming out of Melbourne. Yeah, there's this coastal one that goes through Mount Gambier. So what have we got? We don't even have Mount Gambier down here. Oh, we do. It's on the edge of the border here. Of course. Right, so we've got to run down the bottom here. Coming out of like Geelong and stuff. Okay. Yep. So let's say that that's doing that into Geelong, and then come out of Geelong like this. We're sort of staying flat for a while, ducking down there as we sort of get through here. Brief little bit of up again. And we sort of follow the coast then. Come back in a little bit from the coast. Into Mount Gambier. Alright, so that's a good sort of connecting point. We're heading into South Australia there. What else do we need? Yep, so there's that other road there that I assume is going through Ballarat, is it? Let me have a look. It is. It's this other highway that's going up through Ballarat. And heading out that way. Again, just doing this completely completely arbitrarily because I've got very little in terms of actual reference to go off here. And the place where this needs to end up at, let's see, it's crossing the border. 160 k's above that. 220 below that. So about 16 blocks above here, but 22 blocks below here. So about 22 blocks below here puts this at like 330. And how much did I say? Like, yeah, 16, 17 blocks above where it's crossing down here. So from here, 27. Yep, okay, so let's say about there. Maybe one. Oh, yeah, how's it line up with... Ah, Shepperton. Shepperton is my reference. Perfect. We'll go down that one then. Okay. So we're sort of making our way higgledy-piggledy from Ballarat to ending up there. I'll just zoom back in a bit more on my map. Just see a little bit more of the fine detail. Let's take that off. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Oh, tapped out of it again. So from Ballarat, we kinda... We'll come out diagonal again, and we'll be sort of gentle gradient for a bit. But then, out of like nowhere, and this is relatively good, yep, we pick up the pace all of a sudden. Gentle, Mr. Horsey. And we'll just do it diagonally for a bit. Too aggressive. It's gotta come across a little bit. And we'll shoot up again a little bit more. Just like that. Okay. Alright, so that's another connecting road through there. So, I think that's Victoria fully done in terms of its roads, with the exception of the fact that there are some stranded places. Places that have no roads that we've put places to. So, this is where maybe the was that Bendigo? Yeah. Maybe the lesser colours would come in handy here. Coming out of Melbourne. That's Ballarat there. Yeah. So from Ballarat, there is a road going up to Bendigo. There's also a road coming back to Geelong. Yeah. Let's add a bit of time back on. Coming out of Ballarat. That shoots us across to Shepparton. This is a road that winds all the way up to Dubbo. Wow. And the one that goes through Parks, yep. Oof. One that shoots up there and goes up there and there. It also even hooks back as well. Bumping into a horse there. Excuse me, sir. Like that. Bit of a corner, but what'll you do? Alright. So this one from here does shoot all the way up to Mildura. Yeah. And then we'd be more like having Victoria. Oh, hello. Hello. Nautilus shells. Oh, a small drip leaf. Sand, I got plenty of that. Blue ice. Greetings, sir. Welcome to my country. Was not expecting to see you here. Do another stealth ban of another. What's that? Intent rampage. That's another sneaky ban evader. Lead him to the emerald. Yeah, where are you? No, wrong way. Wrong way. That's Adelaide. Up that way, sir. Follow the roads. Follow the road network. Dear. So, yeah, Bendigo up to Mildura there. Yeah. And again, we'll just fly by the seat of our pants here and just do a bit of random block placing. See what happens. This is going to be basically diagonal for a bit. Which feels rather fast. But maybe it has to be. We're gonna diagonally up. Then we're gonna get to here and we're gonna do like a little flat bit. gonna brush up here. That sort of thing. Okay. Right. And that should have Victoria done. With all of its bits. Which means we can move back up into New South Wales again. Oh, yeah, but this bit coming out of Shepparton. No, that's... Yeah, I've got to remember that. That's on its way up to Parks and Dubbo. It's going to shoot up through there, and into those. I've got to make sure to do that. But I am mindful of Canberra, just for the time being isolated, as is. Let me work out what it's doing. It's literally only connected by a bit of road that V shapes in with Goulburn and with that other bit. Excuse me, coughing to the microphone. So that's too low. Like that. And like that. Kind of thing. Which is going to make me want to do that. Just so that that feels a bit nicer. There you go. And that's how Canberra's connected to everything else. There are other little roads down the bottom and things to connect to other places, but that would be lesser colour. That would be the grey concrete powder instead of the dry grey concrete itself. So this Shepparton one, it's coming like straight up. Yeah, so it's coming straight up, then does a weird jag at the border. Which I've got to do like that. Then we're going to just cross this road arbitrarily somewhere. A little bit higher than Wagga. Whoa, what's going on there? Yeah, we need to start getting that diagonal going. Coming out through here. And we've got to ultimately make our way up into Parks. There's a little bit of a cross here for a bit. A little bit more across again. No, I reckon we could... Nah, we could have stuck with that. 'Cause you got to remember that all the scale's off a little bit with curvature of the Earth and all the other buzzwords. So we make our way up onto Parks there. Come back out the top of Parks. We're coming into Dubbo diagonally, so we'll just do that. Which means I think I'll keep that going a tad longer before I move it across. Okay. Let's see. So this Dubbo one, it's going to come back down through orange and it's going to connect in to that. Just doing almost a mirror of that side. So it's going to go diagonal into orange. Like that. And when we come out of orange, we're just going to run across like that. Okay. So that connects that into Sydney. Great. So we've got to get Dubbo out to Burke and then across to Broken Hill. There's Broken Hill way out there. Yeah. This is going to be big, free-formed. Burke we're hitting almost diagonally. And on, you know, a bit of a steep diagonal. That's its approach. Because this then continues along for basically almost all the way across. It's got a little bit of life to it, but not much. It's going to go across for ages. Then after a while it's going to... Where are we compared to Melbourne? Yeah, past Melbourne. It's going to do a little wiggly wiggle. Oh, we are past Melbourne. We've been past Melbourne for a little bit. broken hill there. You're blaming this curvature a lot. Maybe you should have made it less flat. Have everything a block or two downhill. Once you move too far from Northern Territory. Yeah. I know. I've got to blame something. I'm not gonna blame my terrible design choices. So we're gonna write off a lot of things on some stuff. There we go. So Burke does just sort of continue up there, and we'll have to connect that to other things at some point. So for now, let's just give Birth a little squiggly squiggle up to the top border, just to give it somewhere to go. It comes out fairly well at the top. Into there, really. Okay. So coming back to all of these bits here and how they connect. So coming out the top end of Sydney, we're just going to scoot up right beside Gosford. Going to do that. Gosford just sort of gets touched by the edge of that. And I've got to be careful what I'm doing here. So, sticks a little bit inland, squeezes up to Taree. Doesn't technically go through Taree, but we haven't got the depth of resolution to deal with that, so goes past Port Macquarie, but we'll do a little tip into it there. Does go through Coffs. So we've got a skirts past Grafton briefly here. Gonna skirt past Byron Bay as well. Guess we'll do that. And we're on our way up into the Gold Coast here. Alright. I guess we've got to put a connector into Grafton there. Have a bit of time on. So that's like the main run up the east coast there. Now, how do we get out to Musselbrook and all that? What's the connectors there? So from here, Musselbrook is very low. Come out the top of Musselbrook. Come in up from underneath Tamworth there. Okay. We do have some lighter roads through there. Yes. So I'm just looking at how we get everywhere from Tamworth up to Moree and all this sort of stuff up here. But I'll have to do a little bit of inland connectives in a bit. So from Tamworth, things are heading across here. Just kind of up toward the border. So again, we just fully make this up. Crossing the border basically just below Toowoomba. So crossing the border like here. And this awkward part right here. Crossing the border there. We've got to get our way over there from Tamworth, which should be a lot straighter, way more vertical, and this has to go all the way across over there. This is this side-to-side exaggeration that we had before, that coming back to haunt us now. Alright, have a sip of water to give us strength. Alright. So, from Tamworth, aggressively come out with a bit of angle. Which is not at all what that looks like. And we start going up diagonally. No, too soon. So this is Grafton, right? Yeah. Grafton's got a road going across, so Yeah, just run straight up now. Alright. Because from Grafton, we're coming across, we do a blip up there briefly. But we cross through here. I should be coming in from the side of Moree. Should have planned that out a bit better. Something like that. Back up there. Okay. That gets us up to Moree there. Moree's also going up to the Queensland border. That. Good enough. And getting to Moree. So from Tamworth. No, a bit branched off before Tamworth. Really? Came across and then went straight up. Do that one lower. And then literally straight up. And from Dubbo, chicken. There we go. That's a bit more like what it actually does. That's a bit more like it. Okay. Happier with that. Moree does have a road that runs across to Burke. It does. Runs across, hooks down, shoots across. Hooks down when it's sort of basically above Parks, which is still way out here. Okay. That's too aggressive. It doesn't actually drop below Broome. Goes across most of the way there. Has a little bump back up. Roundabout at the point where that splits off, actually. So yeah, roundabout here. A little bump up. And comes into Burke. Whoop. From the side there. Okay. I'm feeling like that could be New South Wales done. Let me just have a quick look at that, and we might end up calling it here this evening. Let me obscure that by looking at that now. Okay. So just looking at the rough kind of shape of what we've got going on here. Yeah, this is mostly it. There is actually, let's see. Just above Goulburn, there's a little connector to just below Wollongong. Apart from that, the rest of that really is that sparse in the middle there. Yep. Okay, yep, so let's just put that in there, and I think all that's done. So it's just somewhere across here. A little bit above there. It's going to be awkward because of all this diagonaling. But somewhere like that. It's just a connection through there. Alright. Great. Well, let's zoom out and prepare for the screenshot. Finished Victoria and New South Wales, and almost finished South Australia. Yes. Where's the clouds? Oh, we're already above the clouds. They're going to get now eye line still. Yes. Okay. Yeah, 2 or 3 roads short of Northern Territory. Yeah, we just need to have that big strip down the middle, and the shoot off into Queensland, and the shoot off this way, and then they're done. So yeah, we've worked on sort of the most road intensive sections first. We're doing it almost in reverse order to the order that we put down the towns. Let's see, how's this for... Where are we? Let's take the overlay off actually. That'll let us do that. Get a bit of New Zealand tucked away in there too. I mean, the logo is covering New Zealand, but that's fair. All right, somewhere in there. There's our screenshot. Let me straighten up a bit. It's fine. It's fine. Great. Road systems underway. So next time, which hopefully will be next week, see how we go, but hopefully next week, we will pick an adjoining state. I feel like it should probably be Queensland, because if we continue those roads through into South Australia, then the next thing that we're naturally going to want to do is to continue them up into Northern Territory, and then we're probably going to have wanted the road from Queensland coming across to the border by that point. So I think we'll try and follow some of those northern New South Wales roads up into Queensland, so that we can feed that over into its western border, touching into Northern Territory. Then that'll allow us to sort of double back and do Central Australia. Yep. Yes, exactly. Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia, Western Australia. No, that makes sense to me. Exactly. So we'll do that lap around there. I will probably have to do some roads on Tasmania as well. I guess I should do some roads on New Zealand, but I'm not so sure. It's just there, hanging around. It's not the real centre of attention, and I'm not necessarily going to do a bunch of roads in the pokey little bits of the next land masses that are appearing up there. Again, they're just sort of more there for context of seeing how close we started to get to the next set of things. Oh, excuse me with the coughing again. Too much. I won't say too much talking, but there's been some pretty long periods of no talking. But no, this is looking good. So let's wrap that there, I reckon. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been another stream to be overthunk by Sharky. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.